Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Auto Trail Mohawk, which is a 2016 model. So as I start the walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle, the first locker you get to is where your battery and hookup is, and it opens with a West alloy key. So what you might want to do is just put your foot behind and help the locker up, and in there you've got 2 batteries this side and an additional 2 batteries that side, so you've got 4 batteries on this vehicle. Your hookup point is here, so what you do is you get your hookup lead. Always hook the vehicle up first, like so, and then hook the power source up and do it in reverse when unhooking. You've got battery isolation switches here and battery fuses at the back, so if you wanted to turn A off, which are these 2 batteries, and if you wanted to turn B off, which are these 2 batteries, you can do like so. But a fully charged leisure battery while camping should last you 3 days, so you have got about 12 days off-grid facility here if they're all charged fully. You'll also notice that this is your grey waste, so this is anything that you put down a plug hole goes into a separate holding tank, and then you just open it on the lever there and drain it off on a site on the motorhome service bay. Make sure that's open in the winter, as you wouldn't want any water to freeze in here. The last customer has also fitted a horse box style locker, which is quite a good idea. So you push the coach bolt in, pull the coach style lock out, and in here is underneath your seat. So this is all the electrics to do with the drop down TV and the inverter. You've got your fridge vent covers, your external barbecue connection, your external shower, and a hookup lead. So on here is your external shower point. So both inch connection connects into here, hot or cold depending on. Make sure the pump's on. It'll only be hot if you've had the water on. And as you can see, that is lovely and toasty there. You can see the steam coming off the water. That's great for the dogs or the bikes or the boots or the kids should you've been on the beach. Just while we're here, I forgot to mention this. This is an external telly point. So if you're on a super site, you'll get yourself a length of coax. You can connect to there and then connect to their aerial should you be in an area where you struggle to get a signal. Your fresh water, so you've got a cover there which you can open with a round headed key, locks it, open it up, get yourself a hose pipe. Any hose pipe will do as long as it hasn't been used in the garden, and some hose ends. This is just a brass tap on most sites. You'll need the hose lock and the screw on. Put the hose into there, wait until it overflows, which means it's fully filled, or you can see inside on the main control panel how much water is on board. If you wanted to drop off your water, i.e. in the winter, or you've taken on contaminated water, you'd simply open here and let that drain out. But you must drain it off in the winter, so they're very important points. Turning these, you've got your garage. So this has been converted by the last owner into a Mohawk where he keeps the dogs and some storage. So you can see that you've got all your storage rails here, your afterbar for your awning. Your lights turn on and off here. You've got your table, which is just like opens like an ironing board you can put inside the vehicle. Your carpets. You've got this handy sink which fills up. So I think it was designed for when he was travelling with the dogs. This was like their bowl. So if you're going to use it, just turn it on here. It fills it up with water, and obviously the dogs can drink from it when you're traveling, as this was kind of like a kennel. And over here, this is where your boiler lives, so it holds 10 litres of water at any one time in here. In the winter, it's very important that you drain that 10 litres of water out, and to do so, you've got this little yellow valve which is lying down. Stand it up like so, and it will drain off underneath the vehicle 10 litres of water. Leave it stood up during the duration of time that the vehicle is in storage. Open the fresh and waste outside like I've just shown you. Open all the taps within the vehicle in the middle position of the mixer and remove the shower head from the hose and allow the hose to lie in the shower tray to stop any water from building up in there. But it's very important that you drain it off, because they are just plastic tanks and pipes, and if they were to freeze, it isn't covered under any warranty, as it's your responsibility to drain it off. Your own unwinding handles just in that corner, and you've got some tethering rails along the bottom, as you can see, so you can just move these up the rail to tie things down with bungees and ratchet straps. Coming round to the back of the vehicle, you've got your high level brake light and reverse camera. Full size spare wheels under here, so with the round headed key you can open this locker here. Big nut takes the acrylic panel off and you've got a full size spare wheel. Got a tow bar on here with 7-pin electrics. And then as we walk round, so there's a cover on here, and what you need to do is remove this cover so it's exposed like so when heating the water on gas, which is the control above the habitation door, which I'll show you when I'm inside. So when you're travelling and when you're on electric, you can have the cover on like so. If you just lift it off, when on gas it allows the fumes out, otherwise the water will not heat on gas, as it will fail as a precaution to stop the emissions going back into the vehicle. Cassette loo, so make sure the blade's shut on the inside bowl of the toilet, otherwise it won't come out. You'll be able to lift the orange handle and slide it out. Handle on there so you can drag it to your site when it's full. And to empty, it's very simple. Just remove the grey cap, press the button, tip out. Your chemical waste disposal site's normally behind or beside your toilet block. Once you've tipped it out, put some water in, give it a rinse, tip out again. Then if you're using the chemical cap full into here, it's good to go of the blue or the green. Or if you're using the tablet form, you'd put a pint of water in and you'd drop a tablet into the cassette, into the water, and that'll break up into a liquid. Just the tablets are easier to store than the big bottles of blue these days, but it's up to you what you use. External barbecue points, so your barbecue points in the vehicle, you just push that in and turn, and then connect the other end with a Jubilee clip to your Caddock or external awning heater, and that'll use the gas off the vehicle and you won't have to carry a separate bottle. You've got your awning light and your awning, and then under here you've got an external 240 volt socket for in the awning should you want to power a TV in here or a radio or any other item. You can power that. And then to open this locker, if you open the door, and just behind the seat there's a lever, so you pull that, it pops the door. Then in here you can fit 2 gas bottles. It's always propane, and what you do is it's a left hand thread, hand tighten, and then you'll need a spanner or an adjustable wrench to nip it up, and then you can turn it on and off at the top of the bottle. Obviously we do advise that you turn it off when travelling, and always make sure that with the straps you strap the bottle in. At the door you have your diesel filler, which opens with the main ignition key to fill with diesel. And then here you do have your tyre pressure, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi all round. Your toolkit's underneath this seat here, the passenger seat, to change your wheels, so it's got a jackknip brace and a tow eye in, and your main engine battery is underneath here. The bonnet release is on the side of the dashboard, and we'll have a quick look underneath the bonnet. I'll point out the main points. So first of all, you've got all your fluids this side, so you've got your screen wash, this lifts off, and you've got your power steering and radiator coolant, brake fluid here, oil filler and oil dipstick, paint code for Grigio, which is 691, and earth for giving a jump start. And if you just put your key in here or a screwdriver and lift here, this is your positive for giving or receiving a jump start to the engine battery. Weight plate here, so it's 4250. And then if you want to tow anything with the tow bar, you can tow up to a train weight, which is a vehicle, and whatever it's towing can't exceed 5.5 tonne. So once in the vehicle, above the habitation door, you've got your main 12-volt control panel. When you've got this wiggly line here, it indicates that you're hooked up. So you're on mains 240 volt. If not, you will just be on 12 volt. So only the 12 volt appliances will work within the vehicle. So you've got your on off here. So this is your master switch. And then next to it, you've got your pump. So you must turn your pump on to use taps, toilet or shower. Next, you've got your interior lights, which are all individually switched around the vehicle. And coming down the bottom, you've got your awning light, which is the light outside the vehicle. You've got your dimmer, so it dims these lights. As you can see there, they're dimming down until they go off. You've got your power transfer button, so if in emergency you need to use the leisure battery goes flat, you can use the engine battery by clicking this switch, but I wouldn't advise it, because if you flatten your engine battery, then you can't start the vehicle and you can't drive off anywhere. And then should it be cold overnight and potentially freeze, if you put these tank heaters on, it basically puts current through the probes which are in the water tanks and stops the water from freezing, so it won't crack your fresh and waste water tanks. But if you're not using the vehicle, we'll always say drain the vehicle off. Coming here, you've got your main control panel. So if you go up and down with the scroll, you can view the vehicle, leisure, fresh and waste water. So vehicle, leisure, fresh water and waste here. So you can see if you need to top up with waste or your batteries are doing okay. Then you can see your vehicle volts, your solar panel ampage and your ampage coming off the battery. So we're currently using 2.7 amp. And then it goes back to the time. On this side, you've got your boiler on gas. This is where the cover needs to come off. So if you're heating your water on gas, i.e. you're wild camping, or you want the gas and electric on together to obviously double the heating source to give you hot water a lot sooner, take the cover off with this one. 50 degrees at the top for doing your dishes and 70 degrees at the bottom for, so 50 for showering, 70 for doing your dishes, as I wouldn't want to shower with 70 degrees of water, it'd be too hot. Off in the middle, and then on this side you've got your, so you turn up to 2000, 9 is equivalent to 30 degrees, so in the middle is about 15. It's 2000 kilowatts, which you can use on most sites throughout the UK. You've got half a kilowatt, which is 500 watts, and 1000, which you may have to use if you're drawing too much current. Say you're boiling the kettle and you've got 2000 on, you may have to turn it down because it may trip the vehicle out. Or if you're abroad, you may have to use a smaller power, as they'll not give you a big enough current through, or ampage through the hooker bleed, where you can use 2000. So now in the kitchen, you've got 3 lit gas rings and 1 electric hot plate on 240 volt only, so only when you're hooked up will this work. And obviously once they've cooled down enough, you can then put the cooker hood down, but don't when they're still hot because it will smash. And underneath you've got your grill, which is lit there, and underneath you've got your oven. So your oven's lit at the back. And when putting the oven shelf back in, always make sure that the 2 sticky out bits are at the back, as they are designed to stop the burner from being blocked.
I would put extended.
Coming to your fridge, to turn on and off, let's see it. And then you've got 3 sauces. So you've got mains electric on hookup, gas when while camping, and then the battery, which is designed to just keep the temperature the same when it was departing, when you departed basically. So if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, you'd hook it up the day before, the night, 2 days before, put your fridge on, pre-chill it, put your shopping in the night before. Then when you're travelling, just put on battery, it turns this into a cool box, and it'll keep all your shopping fresh no matter how long you travel. Or if you're going from one site to another, you'd use the battery. Obviously gas when you were wild camping, and when you're on a site with hookup, you'd use the hookup. Got your temperature here, so 5 being the coldest. You may not want to put it on all 5 because sometimes it can be too cold. You may just want to drop it down 1 or 2 just to keep the shopping cold but not freezing. Freezer box, and then once you finish with the fridge for the season, if you just clean it out and then just by the light, there's a little nib, push in, slides it to, lugs out, and then it allows you the air in and out the fridge door just to stop the mould and things from and bacteria from building up in there. Above you've got your plates, cups and bowl rack, and you've got your isolation plug for your mains powered microwave, which is 800 watt. And to wake the microwave up, you just simply press eco when you're on hookup and you can use the microwave. Underneath here is storage for the sink top, slides in there and stores away when you're travelling. Yeah, you've got a large cutlery drawer and pan drawer. If you push this panel underneath, you've got the plug for the oven, and you've got some storage underneath there, but it is intruded by the wheel arch. And then to heat the vehicle off gas, i.e. if you're wild camping, this is when your Truma fire would come into play. So if you push down here, this is your gas. You can see in the pilot hole there. If you're struggling to get this lit, always bring it through the hob first, as your gas has been off. And then once it is lit, if it's on the O there, it will convect out the front and save your leisure batteries when you're wild camping. Not that you need to, as you've got 4 batteries on this vehicle. And then A is automatic, so it'll automatically blow around the vehicle until a thermostat kicked in at the temperature set. Once it hits that temperature, it'll drop down until you were to turn it off yourself, and it'll kick back in and out. And then M means you need to manually intervene and turn it off, as it'll keep providing the same level of heat. 1 to 5 is just your fan speed. As you can hear, the fans have kicked in there. But you can't have the gas and the electric turned on together should it be really cold. To give the vehicle a boost, get the temperature, then you turn the gas off. And then if you look down here, you can see that the flame and the fire is lit. Above it you've got your wardrobe where the light comes on, and just above, so you've got a large hanging space there, and just above the wardrobe you've got these 2 switches here. So the switch on the far right does the blue lights, and then the switch on the left does the white lights. So these have been fitted by the previous owner, and they're quite a nice light on an evening to light up this area. Located on the back bed, this is how you'd heat your water on electric. So main 230 volt, off in the middle, 1 kilowatt equivalent to 40 degrees, off in the middle, and 2 kilowatts at the bottom equivalent to 60 degrees. Obviously you've got to make sure that you've got water in the boiler first before you put this on, should I say. Otherwise it is just like boiling a kettle with no water in, you can burn the element out. And the boiler is located just behind here in the garage. To operate the toilet area, you press the the blue button. The final start for extraction, if you just press that until it goes to a solid light, you can then press the blue button, which flushes the toilet, as you can see. There's the flush working. Always flush the toilet first. Then what you want to do is you want to open the blade, which is slide to the right. Use the toilet with the blade open, and then flush after use and slide to the left, and that's when you can get the cassette out the outside. Should it be in the open position, you'll not be able to get it out. You'll also get a couple of green lights on here when the cassette's full, which indicates it does need to be changed and topped up with chemical when you empty the cassette. Under here I've got some toiletry space, light on the side, some more toiletry space, and there's a cabinet here in between which you can put a few little bits and pieces in. Across from the toilet, obviously the toilet door acts as a toilet door or acts as the bedroom door. Should you want to have a bit of privacy in this space from the space out there. Your magnetic shower doors, so you just push them open, and then you've got a hanging rail for towels or coats if you've been caught in the rain. And then when you're winterising as well, if you just remove the shower head from the hose, as you can see it's got quite a big loop in there, lie the hose down and leave the mixer tap open during the winter time, so any water will just trickle out into the waste and you'd have the freshened waste from outside open anyway. So to operate the cello TV in the back, obviously turn on and off. You've got source where you can skip through different sources, so if you've got a DVD or HDMI you want to put in, smart stick you can. But you go to menu, just at the top, go down to channel and go down to auto search and find as many channels as you can in your area via searching for channels, but you will have to do that every time you move site. So now in the front lounge, so this has been converted and there's a TV behind there. So what you need to do to get your TV up is turn on the power. So this is an inverter, as the telly is motorized on a bracket, and then you would press extend, press and hold, and the telly will come up from behind the sofa. So the last customer who's done this, who owned a horsebox conversion company, and it's quite a nice feature, a little bit bigger of a TV in your lounge, especially if you're going to sit in the captain seats, the passenger and driver swivels. See, that comes up, and then you've got the bottom button to take it down, but the inverter must be on as it's not a 12 volt. And above the TV you've got your TV aerial, so when travelling you always want to make sure that the pole is fully pulled into the vehicle and the nut is tightened. But if you struggle to get a signal, so this is showing green, which means you've got a signal. If that was orange or red, red means it hasn't got a signal, orange means it's got a weaker signal. You just simply untie the aerial, push up, tie it back in, and then use the little toggle on the bottom to direct the aerial. But the tip is just look where the other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your site and point yours in a similar direction. In the cupboard next to it you've got your Sergeant remote, which controls this. You can control lights off it and things. A USB, your space heater and water heater and charger on mains electric. Obviously space heater, which is your heating system, works off gas, and your water heater works off gas as well. So that's just the 240 electric side of it. RCD and MCB, so if you trip the vehicle out with a kettle or you're running too much and you trip the vehicle out, try here before you try your main site. This is just imitated off the control panel, and you've got your system shutdown button so you can isolate the batteries. And you've got all your 12-volt fuses which are listed here, which does which. Unique build number, so if you need any parts, if you quote that number, we'll get the right parts for your vehicle. To operate your telly, obviously you drop it down by just releasing the catch. Should you not be able to drop it down, if you just pull this lever from the back, that'll help drop down. Got a main switch here, so make sure it's on. Goes on to standby. Press to turn it on. Obviously a blue light means it's on. You get your Avtex logo. Then you can press AQT, which is this orange button, press and hold. So continue to press and hold, like so.
It's all good. That's good, yeah. Over to you, Governor. These late bills. Yeah. I think they're going to become blank. Really? Yes, absolutely.
And it'll ask you what country you're in, press OK. And it'll do an auto search and find as many channels as it can in your area. You've got a double bed over the cab, so you'd simply pull the board out to the front of the bulkhead. Got your ladder there, so your ladder would just clip on here. And then what you'd do is you would push the mattress back, turn it over, push it back. And then you've got a safety net for young children which just clips on to the two rails on both sides. But to allow more headroom, you'd slide the mattress over and push the bed board back. So now in the cab, down the right hand side of the driver is the handbrake, and then on the door you have your electric windows and electric mirror adjustments, which have got two positions. So you've got the big mirror at the bottom, which is your blind spot, and then on the cab it's fitted with Remus cab blind, so if you pinch and slide along, you've got these on the doors of the passenger and driver's door. And then you've got these ones on the windscreen. You've got your headlight adjustments and rear fogs. Your wipers with your trip computers, which goes through your fuel consumption, your driving times, your distance travelled and so on, all through there. Steering wheel controls and voice command, lights and indicators, and then at the bottom you do of course have your cruise control, which is up the top. You get your desired speed and push up, cancel with the foot brake or cancel on the stalk, and then resume on here as well. And then at the bottom you've got speed limiter, so if you push up slowly it goes up in 1s, if you push and hold it goes up in 5s. And then obviously it does have the kick down function, so if you were caught short you can just push it right down to the floor and it will override the speed limiter set in place. 6-speed manual gearbox with uplift the collar for reverse, which brings on the rear view camera on your head unit there. You've got traction control. Hill descent controls pretty much useless, it's a manual motorhome, not an automatic. Hazards. This locks the doors, including the habitation door, and then you do have heated mirrors, USB and 12-volt for charging, USB and auxiliary for media for the radio. Then on the outside you've got your hot and cold temperature, must be on at least one or more for the aircon to work, which is this one here. Distribution, so where you want the air to go to, where you want it to circulate, face, feet or screen, and whether you're circulating fresh air within the through the motorhome or recirculating air within the motorhome. Head unit, so FM AM radio, press 1 to 3 to save, or you can press up to 6, up to 12 to save your favourite channels on FM or AM. Media can either be a CD or an auxiliary input. You've got navigation there, so you just go navigate to, address, and you can pop them where you want. But do take in mind, this is just a van sat nav, not a motorhome sat nav, so be very vigilant when using it. Otherwise you don't want to be caught by a low bridge, as it's not programmed for the profile of a motorhome. And phone, so you go phone, settings, add phone, and you're looking for Uconnect on your device. Make sure the pins match, press pair on here, pair on your device, and then it'll ask you if you want to allow your contacts to be saved. Press allow, and then whoever's saved in your phone book will then come up here should they ring. Going into more, you can look in your trips and you can see your trips, see your average fuel, your times and so on without looking through the little small screen here.